The demo. Play chess, not checkers. Strategy is key. How do we deliver a compelling story and value, either in person or remote? It's a lot easier said than done. The goal of this session is to build confidence in your current demo skills, wherever you are today. How do we improve and take you up another level? Because there's always room for improvement. Don't make this common mistake: making your demo a one-way interaction. Your demo should be a two-way dialogue comprised of showing and telling, as well as learning and listening. Advanced preparation with people mapping. Proper preparation allows you to display confidence in front of your prospects. Prior to a sales meeting, it's important to do research and to know who's going to be on the call, what their backgrounds are. It's also smart to consider additional people who may be added to the call. Plot this information out on a people or an influence map to create a visual depiction of the organization and people's roles. Then note the contacts you have in common with each person so that you can reference them and find a common ground. Finally, think of the questions these people may ask and prepare answers in advance for each and every one of them. Matchmaking your capabilities with their needs. Matchmaking is truly understanding the prospect's needs, wants, desires, challenges, motivations, and connecting them directly to your solution, your product, your service. To do this, you need to understand what problem your product or service is designed to solve. Once you know what that problem is worth to the client, you can now show the value your solution brings. Then ask more deeper, laser-targeted questions to understand motivations, or even lack thereof, to change or to take action. Highlighting value. The approach you take to highlight value depends heavily upon your audience. You need to understand what motivates your prospects in order to highlight those values that are important to that person or the team. For example, are you connecting with engineering? Are you connecting with the CFO and the financial team, the CEO? Each of these may require a different set of values to be highlighted to meet their needs. Engineers may be interested in the technology and how it helps them on a technical level. CFOs, they could be focused on the numbers and that bottom line. The CEO might be interested in the vision that's driving the entire organization. We demonstrate value in two ways. Number one, showing the product or service in action. We can do a live demo of our solution, or we can propose a pilot program in order to prove to our customer the value and show them that it actually works. Number two is telling the value story, sharing case studies, testimonials, and hypotheticals that explain how other customers have implemented the solution and gotten great results. These approaches are known as story selling. By actively listening to your prospect and taking great notes during the discovery process, you can now create stories about how you've helped other businesses in similar situations use your product, service, and overall solution to meet their goals. Once you understand the prospect's priorities, their triggers, and what's going on within their industry, you can now craft your message to target them perfectly. Let's gain additional perspectives and hear about the importance of storytelling from Shaq Rashad. Take it away, Shaq.
Storytelling, when I think of sales, I think of it as it's kind of an ever-growing like tool belt, right? Of all the things that you're working on, you're working to get better at, and storytelling, I think, is the best tool that we have, honestly. I think of myself when I'm in the purchaser role, right? If, say, I'm going to buy a new car, I don't want them to sit there and explain to me all the features of it, right? The features are great. I can look at that on paper. Tell me a story. Like, what's it going to look like when I get in this car and I drive home, when my family's in the car with me? Paint the picture for me. And I think that's what storytelling is. I think that's why it's used so often in sales, is because you can paint the picture of what it looks like, the perfect picture once you find their pains. I use storytelling all the time. Having been in the seats of the people that I'm now selling to, storytelling I find is one of the more powerful tools I have. And so as an athlete, right, I can speak to what it was like. I can tell the story. I can walk them through, hey, when an athlete wakes up, this is what they're thinking. Here's where the software steps in. And then I've also coached that level too. So I can step in from their perspective and say, hey, I bet you're dealing with this. Or I can ask them, hey, what are you dealing with? And they tell me, like, the pains. And I find a story from someone that either we're working with already that's dealing with that, and there's a success story to go with it. Or I can just take a story, right, just make one up, right, nothing far-fetched, but make up a realistic story and tell them, hey, this is what it could look like if you were to include Influencer or Teamworks, our other platform.
Three P's to executing a flawless virtual web demo. These 3 P's are the keys to great demonstrations: planning, preparing, and practicing. Number 1, plan. Document in advance what needs to be done step by step and in the right order. Number 2, prepare. Get ready for a specific purpose on a micro level, including gathering assets and doing your research to build your background knowledge to ensure you're delivering relevant information and the right message. Number 3, practice. Perform each task, activity, or action repeatedly to improve your proficiency, including your use of the digital functionality like screen sharing or even polls. In real-life application, what does this look like? Well, here are some recommendations. You should look to do mock demos, practice demos, gather feedback, adjust, iterate, and test. Do your advanced research on confirmed and also potential attendees. Customize and personalize your demo to make it super relevant, and also to create an emotional connection, which is a game changer for those who join. Have your stories prepared. And last, and certainly not least, have a great mindset via positive mental preparation. It makes a world of difference. Having an agenda which serves as the roadmap to keep you on target. Using questions, similar to what we talked about in the discovery module, to check in along the journey and to keep your attendees engaged, as well as ensuring that you're answering WIFM, W-I-I-F-M, what's in it for me, or in this case, what's in it for them. The use of stories and storytelling, or as I like to call it, story selling, can be powerful, especially when you're sharing about real-life individuals and or organizations that have been able to benefit from your solution, while also keeping your message simple and straightforward, eliminating any quote-unquote fluff.
Let me tell you about a demo that went wrong. A lot of times in the technology space, people don't want to just read what's on the internet. They don't want to just look at a brochure. They want to see the product in action. And I was on stage at an international conference, big screen, and the demo just didn't work. One of the things that you have to do when a demo is not functioning is you always have to be prepared. Never live demo without a backup video. The demo went wrong. I looked at our technician. We paused. I gave a little commentary. We then played the video of the demo that we were able to click through and start and stop, move through the presentation the best we could, and keep it moving. Most of the time, the audience that you are selling to, especially in the technology space, if the demo goes wrong, you can redo it offline and later. But if you don't have something to show in the moment and you lose the non-technical audience, you could lose the sale in that moment. So if you're demoing something, whether it is a presentation, a video, an actual live product demo, make sure you have a video version of that you can use at the spur of the moment so your demo actually never goes wrong.
Practice tip. Kind of like riding a bike, repetition enables you to build that muscle memory so that when the stakes are high, you're able to respond almost instinctively. Practice also makes it easier for you to freestyle and get creative because you'll know exactly where the presentation is going. And since you have the core messaging down pat, it provides you that flexibility. Engaging in a remote environment. The biggest challenge to engaging in a remote environment is not having that physical interaction and the ability to read body language in person. Always ask your prospect to turn on their webcam or to utilize the remote video conferencing functionality. There are two major challenges: lack of visibility and lack of attention. You must do everything in your power to combat and overcome both. Some areas to think about include, in addition to hard work, bold attitude, and lots of practice, you must be able to navigate a successful remote demo, whether it's via the phone or web conference. How do you keep a brisk pace and ensure prospects are actively engaged? Don't forget to leverage all the helpful functions that virtual conferencing provides to make your demo even more engaging. Think about using web conferencing tools such as the arrows, the highlighters on the screen, as well as prompting with an on-screen poll. Ensuring you have done your research in advance so as to customize and personalize, telling stories, once again, that story selling, and making sure that you're mentally prepared, your energy and excitement and that transfer of energy, your confidence and overall trust must be made from you to the prospect. Also, having an agenda can be so powerful. Leveraging what I like to call a power agenda to guide and inform on where you're going can make all the difference in the world, while also soliciting engagement via the use of power questions. Effective communication is a combination of not only what you say, but also how you say it. The quality of your voice, the speed, the melody, tone, and pauses are crucial factors to you delivering a high-powered demonstration. Record yourself. Leverage an accountability partner. Iterate and test constantly. The little things oftentimes mean so much. Proactive objection handling. Be prepared to answer every single question that the customer may ask you. Also, have your own list of questions for the customer and think about how they may answer them. It's a good idea to have a decision tree made up in advance so as your client asks and responds to questions, you can know exactly the information you plan to share, and you'll have a plan to guide the flow of the meeting. Let's hear as Callie digs in deeper into some common objections and how to best address them.
So within sales, there's 4 common types of objections. The first one being price. Price can be the price is too high, right? A competitor has a lower price. But really what the price objection means is that the perceived value is off. You didn't dive in, you didn't dig into the customer's pains enough to present that high of a price point or that low of a price point. The second would be competition. A lot of times, especially during cold calls, you pick up the phone and they say, we already, we have something in place. Diving into what they have in place, right? What positive business outcomes is that particular tool helping with? And then the way to pivot the objection is to then dive into any gaps that current solution has. Maybe you're going up against someone in a competition, right? You need to know that your competition, no matter what it is, right? You need to know them inside and out, not only the features, the functionalities, but also how their salespeople sell, right? If you know their patterns, you can actually predict what they're going to do on particular calls, and then proactively handle any objections that might come up, kind of trap set the competitor. The third type is complacent, right? They have nothing in place, they have something in place, but they're just good with how their current organization is going about things. Maybe they have to download a ton of files, right, and re-upload, and it's really, it takes a lot of time, right, really time consuming, but they've just been doing it for 15 years and don't want to change it. Those type of sales, it can be difficult, right? But that really means that you have to dive in and dig deeper into how maybe it's super time consuming, what pains they're really finding, to then create a solution going forward to change that complacency. And then the fourth one is timing. A lot of times they say, we just ended our fiscal year, or, we don't have budget, or just the timing is off. With that, you don't need a compelling event on the customer or the prospect side. You can create a compelling event yourself, right? It doesn't have to be a quarter turn. It doesn't have to be an annual turn. Create an event. Maybe it's something in particular to the buyer, right? Maybe the compelling event is that they want to get promoted, and you can work back from a promotion date. So really, with any of the four main objections, you as a seller, you can kind of change the narrative and work with your champion to move the deal forward.
Your product and service knowledge. The best ways to build your product and service knowledge is to study and have conversations with internal resources, current and past clients, and others within the industry. These multiple inputs will give you a complete picture of the problems that your product or service solves, and what solving that problem is worth to any prospect. Demonstrating your ROI, return on investment. Every organization is focused on ROI, as well as the time to value. The more clearly you can demonstrate ROI, the more likely you can convince a customer to move quickly and with confidence that they'll get the approval from the C-suite. 2 tools to show ROI include, number 1, a hard cost ROI calculator, which shows direct costs of producing goods and services, and number 2, a soft cost ROI calculator, which shows indirect costs of running the business. Securing firm next steps. The major obstacle to securing firm next steps is simply not stating them clearly. Remember, it's your responsibility as the sales professional and trusted business advisor to ensure forward progress on all deals. The most effective way to guide your customers and prospects to next steps is to ask in terms of what's in it for them. It starts with follow through and follow up. Unfortunately, so many sales professionals don't follow up or follow through. They let too much time pass, or they don't explain clear next steps. As soon as possible following the demo, you should send a summary email that includes a recap of key value drivers and issues that you discussed, a list of action items for the prospect and for you, a request to verify that nothing was missed, a confirmation of the next date and time for discussion. The best way to execute an effective follow-through plan is to be bold and to be brave. Have the courage to drive the sales process and communicate how the prospect should evaluate the solution. I hope that you now feel confident in taking your demo skills into the market, testing them out, and continuing to improve. That up-leveling of your demo skills never stops. I love this quote by Wayne Burgraff, who says, "It takes 1 hour of preparation for each minute of presentation time." Think about it. There is no such thing as demo talent. It's called demo skills for a reason. As you can continue to grow and improve and develop those skills. I wish you all the best, and let's make it happen. Congrats and great work locking in on module number 4, the demo. With practice, you'll now be ready to go out and deliver that demo and value to your prospects, leading them down the path and taking us into module number 5, prospect management. You'll now be able to lead and guide your prospects through the journey to partner with you when there's a match. Remember, continue to keep their needs front and center, and the sky is the limit. I'll see you after module number 5. Keep up the amazing work. Thanks again.